Kirk, this goes to true entrepreneurism. This next question, and it's about the journey and the journey that you took with four of you. I think you mentioned to me that four of you put together a book and you met around Starbucks coffee places and any place that had a hotspot, card tables, wherever you could meet to put together the plan, the idea, and then start pitching it. From the point you started pitching it, tell me about that journey. What were some lessons you learned, interesting stories, and what were maybe some things that really surprised you?
Wow. And it was a journey. So when we first started kicking this idea around and putting this together, um, we had been
This
part of
being the business plan.
the business plan, right? Uh, we had been part of two other startups, if you will. I mean, we kind of had a foundation to work with. And again, I give a lot of credit to Bill Farrell and Dave Fate, back from when we left IT to Transamerica and then Transamerica to AIG. So we had been part of those. So we kind of knew a little bit about the process. Um, what we didn't know at that time when we started launching this thing is that we, in the end, talked to 32 different institutions over that time period
Wow.
when we first launched it. Um, Really quickly, we got down the road, pretty far down the road, with an institution that we thought this could work. This could work, and then just kind
How
of at the
far into
last
the
minute.
32 did you find that one?
Oh, it was early. I mean, it was one of the first four or five, and we had engaged some outside folks to help us and get the word out and kind of let people know that we were trying to do this. And like I say, pretty quickly we found an institution that seemed to marry up well, and and got way down the road, and then get the phone call. Well, we've decided we're not going to, we don't want to pursue this.
Ah,
And then subsequently to our launching, we noticed they did finally launch a group. Um, and so it was kind of interesting, but yeah, we talked to a lot of people. We turned over a lot of rocks, and it just takes persistence. It just takes persistence. And I kept telling the guys, with my sales background, I said, this is just a deal. This is just another deal that you have to work through the process to get all the different constituencies to line up. And you can't get too high, you can't get too low. You just got to keep working the process. And we talked to 32 different institutions,
wow.
banks, and insurance companies, you name it. And so, we were actually kind of getting to the point of this isn't going to happen. I mean, we were really
Really?
down to that point of if this doesn't happen in the next, and I forget, it was a very, 30 days, 60 days, then, we've just got to go do something else. And that's when, just out of the blue, I got the phone call, like I said, from this acquaintance in the industry who said, "You got any of that portfolio left?" And I said, "Why?" And then
Right.
it turned out the funny story too on Wintrust, when I got that phone call is they call, and so he's asking. I said, "No, we don't have that," and kind of kept going. And I finally said, "Well, who is this?" And he goes, "Well, you're not familiar with them. They're a regional bank up in Chicago, and I'm down in Texas." I'm like, "Well, tell me who it is." And he goes, "Well, it's a bank called Wintrust." And I went, "Wintrust?" Interestingly enough, we talked to Wintrust when we sold Transamerica and we're starting AIG. And at that time, Wintrust was a $4 billion bank, and AIG was a $1 trillion insurance company. So which way did we go? I mean, what could possibly go wrong with that decision, right? So he says, "It's Wintrust." And I went, "The $4 billion bank?" He goes, "They're 25 billion now and growing." And so literally that was the phone call that turned everything around. But again, there's no magic to it. You just have to be persistent. And again, over 32 times, you get to where you refine your message pretty well. You also get to where you refine your questions really well back to the institution, because it's not a one-way street. this is a marriage, and if you want to make it a long term, you better thoroughly vet your partner and know their strengths and their weaknesses, so that you go in eyes wide open. And because we did that, there's been, what I would say, very few gotchas, oh, I didn't know that, moments, because both parties were very transparent, very engaged in the process.
Got it.
So, while you're trying to sell yourself and your product, you better be gauging, who you're partnering up with. And they have been a phenomenal partner. Could not ask for a better partner.
You and I have talked about that before, and you've been nothing but effusive about them. I guess my other comment about you, frankly, is that every time we have talked about your success and what you've been doing over the years, you never really talk about you. You talk about your team, and it's always about your team. And to me, that's very heartwarming, and it's the way it should be. But that's a testament of a true leader, Kirk, and kudos. But you always talk about your team and how well they've done and what they're doing and going through COVID and how well they adapted. And so I appreciate you spending some time with us this morning. And maybe we'll come back and have to do a catch-up in a year to see now what's changed. But I want to thank you for your time. Thank you to Wintrust. Thank you to all your people for all their hard work that allows you to be where you're at today. So you have a good day, and we will be speaking again. I'm sure we'll see some comments from Leasing Avenues by various viewers who have viewed this video here probably in the next month or so. And we'll catch up again then. So thank you, Kirk. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Bob. I've really enjoyed it and look forward to our conversations.